Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This is the Commission for Independent Education. I'm Trey Williams, Chair of the Commission. Today is May 29th, 2025. Good morning, Ms. Hood. It's always a pleasure to see you. Would you mind having the roll call?
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Commissioner Cross, Commissioner Marty,
Here.
Commissioner Stefano, Commissioner Caballero,
Present. Present.
I'd like to remind everyone, if you have not done so already, to please put your phones on silent. Also, since it's 137 degrees in here, please only talk to the person beside you if absolutely necessary, because it's going to fill the room with hot air and just get warmer. I never wear sport coats, and I chose to wear one on the day that we are in a room that feels like a sauna. So, it's now time for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask that it be led by our esteemed Executive Director, Tiffany Hurst. You may be seated. Thank you for joining us this morning. Okay, outstanding. We are going to have our introduction of visitors, and we appreciate you being here and want to recognize those who traveled and appreciate it if you just go by one by one expeditiously so that we can get straight on with the remainder of the agenda. Is that microphone on, guys? You know, in fairness, they look exactly the same.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Jose Otero of Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning, Dr. Joe Angley, Cole Middleton Group Education Consulting.
Good morning, I'm Emily Ogden of Cole Middleton Group Education Consulting.
Ann Bouchard, Educational Specialist, Cole Middleton Consulting.
Dr. Chow from Orlando University. I've been here since 2005, 20 years ago. I just met Sam.
Tom Songer with Cole Middleton Group, curriculum designer.
Pedro de Guzman, CIE College.
Dr. Richmond, Cole Middleton Group.
John Newland with Stay Safe Solutions, ELDT Director.
Nadia Spini, Consultant with Stay Safe ELDT School.
Garrett Bush, Director, Stay Safe ELDT School.
Good morning, Maggie Goldstein, Meridian College, Sarasota.
Good morning, everybody. Dr. Henry Olivera, South Florida College of Nursing.
Good morning, David Fiera, COO, South Florida College of Nursing.
Good morning, everyone. Chris Gutierrez, CFO of South Florida College of Nursing.
Good morning, Luis Sanchez, Inter-American University.
Good morning, Nate Adams, partner with the law firm Pollen & Knight, head of the education team.
Good morning, Patrick McDermott, Meridian College, Sarasota, Florida.
Good morning, Henry Abramson, Touro University, Florida.
Hello, Donna Deeds, Mayo Clinic College of Medicine and Science.
Good morning, Becky Wara from Mayo Clinic College of Medicine and Science.
Good morning, Minor Herrera, International Lauderdale University.
Good morning, Minor Herrera, CEO of International Lauderdale University.
Good morning, Luis Martinez, International Lauderdale University.
Good morning, Alejandro Sanchez, CEO, Royal Advanced Institute.
Good morning, Wyman Dickey, Fortis College Campus President.
Good morning, Doug Reed-Miller, Sarasota University.
Good morning, Rebecca Gonzalez, iClick University staff.
Good morning, my name is Jorge, iClick President.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Eber Rafael. I'm
I click University Administrative Director.
Good morning, George Legato, Compumed Vocational Careers.
Nursing consultant.
Nelda Webb, Chamberlain University.
No, it's not working. Dr. Lila McKenna, Chamberlain University.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Donna Morroll. I'm the campus president for Chamberlain University Jacksonville campus.
Good morning. Jay Stubblefield, Lincoln Memorial University.
Good morning, James Tolley, Lincoln Memorial University.
Good morning, Nancy Bradley, Daytona College, Ormond Beach, and also Vice President, PAPS Foundation.
Good morning. Dr. Kevin Wilhelmson, Grand Canyon University.
Good morning, Frank Longacre, University of Fairfax.
Good morning, Umesh Verma, President, University of Fairfax.
Good morning, Adriano Parisi, Campus Director of the Polytechnic University of Puerto Rico, Orlando campuses.
Good morning, everyone. Javier Zavala from the University Polytechnic of Puerto Rico.
Kim Carney, Lincoln Memorial University.
Chris Loike, Lincoln Memorial University.
Good morning, Claudia Camacho, Anajimendes University.
Good morning, everyone. Yvette Perez, Anajimendes University.
Good morning, Dr. Gloribet Perez, Anajimendes University.
Good morning, Carmelo Torres, Anajimendes University.
Good morning, Luis Fábregas, Batania International University.
Good morning, Angeli Gonzalez, Aquinas Network.
Good morning, Jose Carlos Herrera from CIE University.
Good morning, Orlando Martinez, Chief Executive Officer, CEO, US University.
Good morning, Juan Ariza, CEO University.
Good morning, Albert Corredor, University Global Studies.
Morning, Jose Diaz, Campus Director of University of Global Studies.
Good morning, Juanita Corredor, co-founder of University of Global Studies.
Good morning, Daniel of University of Global Studies.
Good morning, Lyd Rodriguez, Bungie Marketing.
Good morning, Christopher DeSalvo, Aquinas Consulting.
Good morning, Xiomara Carvalho, Compliance Agent at Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning, Carla, Compliance Director of Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning, Adelina from Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning, Aaron from Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning, Nadine Bailey, Ultimate Medical Academy, NFAPS board member.
Aaron Hamilton, Hope Sound Bible College.
Eric Bargerhuff, Trinity College of Florida.
Stephen Best, Trinity College of Florida.
Good morning, Andrew Anderson from Learned Library and Information Resources Network.
Good morning, Dr. Ankur Garg with UCF College of Medicine. I'm here with Assessor Nursing. Thank you.
Good morning, Ophelia Sanchez, Miami Regional University President and CEO.
Loretta Sheffield, Miami Regional University.
Good morning, Domingo Alvarez with Alvarez Mendoza Labounty, Certified Public Accountants.
Good morning, Lisa Hilton, International College of Health Sciences.
Good morning, Angela Houston, John Melvin Christian College.
Good morning, Jason Houston, John Melvin Christian College.
Good morning, everyone. Sunil Sinanan from Birchwood University Admissions, Orlando, Florida.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Ramesh Sinanan, the president of Birchwood University, Orlando, Florida.
Good morning, Sarah Bartholomew, Arizona College of Nursing.
Hi, Nina Nunez. I'm Vice President, Chief of Staff at Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine in Melbourne.
Good morning, Bill Peratt, Burrell College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Good morning, Elizabeth de Blasi, Stride University.
Good morning, Mark Giuliano, Stride University, President.
Good morning, James McCoy, South College, Orlando.
Morning, Chris Giorgetti, Ferguson, Santoro, and Giorgetti.
Good morning, Sam Ferguson, Probation Officer for Chris Giorgetti.
Well, that's a hard act to follow there. Good morning, Alan Moore, President, Moore Marine College.
Good morning, everyone. Elsa Alvear, Moore Marine College.
Good morning, Dr. Kara Estes, Professor, Moore Marine College.
Kimberly Sowers, Asbury Theological Seminary.
Greetings, John that's loud, now that I have your attention. Greetings, I'm John Ragsdale. I'm the Provost at Asbury Theological Seminary.
Good morning, Verna Grizzle from North Palm College of Nursing in Altamont Springs, Florida.
Good morning, Stephen Lorenzo from American Technical Institute.
Dr. Pablo J. Perez, ASI College, Director.
Pablo Perez, Director of Education, ASI College.
Good morning, Juan Irarragorri, Universidad Autónoma de Guadalajara School of Medicine.
Good morning, Dr. Kashif Ahmad, Dean at the UAG School of Medicine International Program.
Good morning, Sarah Cruz Mendoza, ATA College in Fort Myers, Compliance Specialist.
Good morning, Jenny Johnson, Dean and Administrator, Orlando School of Nursing in Lake Mary.
Good morning, Anthony Chambers, Orlando School of Nursing. I am the Business Office Manager.
Good morning, Erna Senaris McCabe, Sunlight Healthcare Academy, Dean.
Good morning, Florette Sanjik, Director of Nursing.
Good morning, my name is Dr. Miller, Sunlight Healthcare Academy.
Good morning, Cheryl Jameson, Concord Career Institute in Tampa, Florida.
James Jones, Concord Career Institute.
Good morning, Sam Lynn, Concord Career Colleges.
Good morning, Baudelaire Saint-Ville from Licensure School of Nursing.
Good morning, Victor Manrique, Superstrategy Consultant Firm.
Good morning, Rogerio Moreira, Harrison University.
Good morning, everyone. Edgar Lamela, Super Strategy Consulting.
Good morning, Dr. Ryan Sagers, Florida Tech University CAO.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Deepak. I am Vice President and CEO of Florida Tech University.
Respected Chair and honorable members of Commission, good morning. I am Professor Tomar. I am the President of Florida Tech University. Thank you.
Hello, Richard Norderhaug with Expert Education Consultants.
Good morning, Sandra Norderhaug, Expert Education Consultants.
Good morning, Tejal Lal, Board of Director, Florida Coastal University.
Good morning, Dr. Alex Parnia, CEO, Florida Coastal University, Jacksonville, Florida.
Good morning, Dr. Agua Gopal, President and CFO, Florida Coastal University, Jacksonville.
Good morning, Alfredo Freitas, Embry University Director of Education.
Good morning, Francisco Silva, Executive Director of Embry Education, Orlando.
Good morning, Cameron Karstens. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Messer Caparello in Tallahassee.
Last but not least, and Sam Ferguson's lawyer, Bob Harris, Messer Caparello Law Firm, with this young, bright lawyer working with me. Tallahassee, we represent ASI College, Ana G. Mendez University, and Chamberlain University, Jacksonville, and Miramar. Good morning.
Thank you all for that. Before we proceed, since we're not having this in-person meeting in Howey in the Hills, I'd like Mr. Ferguson to confirm that Mr. Giorgetti's ankle monitor is not going to go off and interrupt the meeting later. Hopefully they extended your range, Chris, and you won't have to leave mid-meeting. Next on the agenda is approval of the minutes. We'll consider the minutes from the meeting held March 27th and 8th of 2025. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any opposed? The motion to approve the March minutes is adopted. Executive Director Hurst, would you please provide the Executive Director's report for us?
I will. First of all, thank you all for being here. It's always great to see you all in person. Our SPF, which is our Student Protection Fund balance, is currently at $4,437,832.10, and there were no citations. And that concludes my Executive Director report.
Outstanding. Counselor, would you please provide our legal counsel report?
I do not have a report at this time, Chair.
Outstanding. All right. Then item number 6, degree institutional licensure issues. It appears we have one, which is institutions ordered to appear back before the commission, section A on the agenda. It is Compumed Vocational Careers Corp. Hialeah, number 1235. If you are here from that institution, please step forward, introduce yourself. Good morning. Are you excited about being first?
This way. Good morning. I'm Joanna Lane, Chief Operating Officer for Compumed.
Good morning. My name is George Legato, the Director of Nursing.
Outstanding.
And
Mark Murray, Legal Counsel to Compumed.
Well, thank you all for being here. It would appear we had been placed on Board of Nursing probation February of 25, if I have that correct. And we're looking at progress reports for NCLEX passage rates. Would love an update. Tell us how that's going.
Sure. So we've been trending 100% since Q3 of 2024. And we released 7 graduates at the end of April. And then from there, we're really going to start getting those bigger graduation populations. We see 22 coming out in August.
I know percentages are always exacerbated in smaller groups.
Correct.
Do you know where your passage rate is year to date now?
Right now, as of up through Q1, is 100%.
Okay. For Q1?
For Q1.
Okay. All of our data trails.
Sure.
So glad to hear that. Do you have any idea what Q2 is going to turn into? Or did you have
Right
people
now,
test?
it's projected 100%, but that's one tester so far.
Oh, it's one. Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's binary. That's tough.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Commissioners, do we have any discussion or further questions? Any public comment? All right. Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations? Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any opposed? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Good luck on your future trajectory there with that one, especially. That will be a tough percentage to sort out.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're glad we've got some coming the end of the year. We've got a lot bigger graduate cohorts, so.
Good deal.
Yeah, we feel secure.
Well, thank you for being here to discuss it. Really, I've said this 1,000 times, everything is easier. 80% of communication is nonverbal, and when you're not here, it's just so much harder to understand just by looking at the page. So thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for your time. Thank you.
Section B, application for provisional licensure. There are 9, and we are taking those individually. I have a mess up here. Hang on a second. I feel like a dorm room. Here we go. Number 1 on that list is CEO US University Orlando, number 13310. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning. CEO, US University. My name is Orlando Martinez, Chief Executive Officer.
Good morning, Juan Ariza, Chief Academic Coordinator.
Buenos días, mi nombre es José Carlos Herrera, soy el CEO operacional de CIE University.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alexandra Rodriguez, and I'm translator for the gentleman. So I'm going to be with Dr. Orlando and Dr. Jose.
Well, thank you all for being here this morning. I'll say that you are lucky that Dr. Stefano is not feeling well and not here. Otherwise, there would be a very long and extensive conversation about ethical artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence concentration in general. I, however, don't know anything about that, so I don't know how to grill you on it. Commissioners, do you have any questions or discussion?
No, I do not.
Hearing none, is there any public comment on the matter? Do you guys have any questions, or do you understand the staff recommendations?
Yes. No, they don't have now, sir.
Okay, outstanding. Then hearing none, do we have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 13310?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much for being here. Really appreciate your time. Congratulations.
Thank you for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you. Number 2 is Concord Career Institute, Fort Myers, number 13285. If you were here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Good morning, James Jones, Director of Academic Operations, Concord Career Institute.
Good morning, I'm Cheryl Jameson. I'm the campus president at the Tampa campus, the main campus for the Fort Myers location.
Good morning, Dr. Sam Lin, Concord Career College's Division Vice President of Operations.
Thank you so much for being here. You look a bit like their bodyguard. You're a big dude. You guys look very safe with him joining you here today. Have you read and do you understand the staff recommendations? There are some contingencies in there. I want to make sure that we're all clear because it appears there are 6 of those contingencies. This is your 5th campus?
Yes. Yeah,
right?
5th campus.
Can you give us a little rundown on the other 4 year to date, because all the data we have trails?
All campuses are doing well. Strong bottom line, completion, placement, licensure, all tracking well.
Okay, outstanding. Is it where you expected it to be for this year?
Yes.
Well, congratulations on that. Well, definitely congratulations on that then. Pardon me. Commissioners, are there any questions or discussion? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 13285?
So move.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Florida Coastal University, Jacksonville, number 13279. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Dr. Raghuva Gopal, President and CFO, Florida Coastal University, Jacksonville.
Good morning, Dr. Alex Parnia, CEO, Florida Coastal University, Jacksonville, Florida.
Good morning, Tejal Lal, one of the Board of Directors, Florida Coastal University, Jacksonville.
Good morning, Dr. Sandra Norderhaug, consultant for Florida Coastal University.
Well, thank you all for being here. Have you read and do you understand the staff recommendations that we're looking at?
Yes, Chairman Williams.
There are 3 contingencies there. I do have one quick question about number 2, and that is about statement of legal control. Was there any confusion with that? Is there a unique corporate structure, or is it just a content oversight?
Our understanding is that only one person was left out, and so we are going to submit that to the CIE.
So it's not a complex structure of ownership?
Not at all.
Okay, understood then. That was my question. And this is online delivery for Masters of Educational Leadership, right?
Correct.
All right. Commissioners, any discussion? Huh? Oh, yeah.
And Commissioners, in front of you, you have staff recommendations as currently written. I do need to add one program to the bottom where it states grant approval of 100% online asynchronous delivery for, and it lists several programs. To be added to that list is the Masters in Education Leadership for higher education leaders. It was just omitted from your original copies.
That's why I wrote that down. Okay, thank you, Director. All right, then, any questions, Commissioners? No. Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations as revised by the Executive Director?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on that. Good luck with that new program.
Thank you so much, Commissioners.
Next on the agenda is Florida Tech University, Jacksonville, number 13324. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Ryan Sagers, Chief Academic Officer.
Respected Chair and Honorable Commissioner members, I am Professor Tomer. I am President of Florida Tech University. Thank you.
Good morning to everyone. I am Dr. Deepak. I am the Vice President and the CEO of the Florida Tech University, Jacksonville. Thank you.
Sandra Norderhaug, Consultant for Florida Tech University.
Well, thank you all for being here. Have you guys read, do you understand the staff recommendations that we're assessing?
Yes, we do.
Commissioners, do you have questions? I'm confused by just one second, guys. I want to make sure I'm reading something correctly.
No problem.
What is it they have to submit? I'm not seeing that. So there's no deficiency, it's just okay. Sorry, I wanted to make sure that I understood the 120-day requirement, which is for your annual application. It's not a standard deficiency, it's an application. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. When I usually see those numbers, there's a contingency that goes along with it, and there wasn't one here. Appreciate your patience. All right. Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 13324?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you very much.
Number 5 is Grand Canyon University, Miramar, number 13244. If you are here from that institution, please come to the podium and introduce yourself. Okay. Hey there.
Hi, good morning. Dr. Kevin Wilhelmsen, Executive Director for Accreditation and State Compliance.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Yes.
Third location for you guys.
Yes, third location, second for this BSN program.
Outstanding. How are the other programs going? I guess well enough that you want a third, right?
Yeah, they're trending very well. There's 8 sites testing for Q1 right now, and 4 of the 8 have 100%, and our Arizona has the other, and that aggregate is 95%.
Do you guys have substantial operations out there in Arizona?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's our main campus. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Got you. I had a note here about negative working capital and just wanted to ask if you could, I understand better than anyone that, or as much as anyone rather, that sometimes numbers on paper don't tell the whole story. So
yeah, absolutely.
Help us understand that.
Yeah, definitely. So that was for our June 2024 financial statements, and when we submitted in October of 24 this application, since then we've submitted an explanation from our CFO stating that we've refinanced that to long-term debt. And there's, if you look at, I believe as part of the application, yeah, so they're showing as current liabilities because they were coming due in the process of being refinanced during that time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so if you look at our projected or the budget that we submitted, will be, I think, a positive EBITDA for this Miramar location by month 9.
It's nice when you can move it from one column to another and change the math, right?
Yeah, that's why they're the CFO now.
It's just numbers on paper, right? Okay. Yeah, you understand why we asked that question with that number in red?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. Okay. Commissioners, any discussion or questions? Director, you have something to add?
I do. So the summary sheet in front of you had a contingency. That contingency was removed. So the summary sheet should now read, grant the provisional license, which shall remain active and valid for up to 1 year after the date of issuance. Order the institution to make timely and sufficient application for renewal of the license by submitting a complete application, materials, and fees, or an extension thereof, no later than 120 days prior to the scheduled renewal date. Grant approval of the hybrid synchronous and asynchronous delivery for the theory courses only with the nursing pre-licensure accelerated ABSN program upon issuance of the provisional license.
Make sense to you, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Outstanding. Commissioners, if there's no other discussion, do I have a motion to accept the staff recommendations as revised by the executive director?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate your time. Number 6 is iClick University Miami, number 13332. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Good morning, Jorge Mérida, iClick University President.
Yeah, good morning, Rafael, Administrative Director.
Mark Murray, Legal Counsel to iClick University.
Gemma Nieto, iClick University Consultant. Good morning.
Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate your time. Have you guys read, do you understand the staff recommendations that we have before us?
Yes, we do.
And there are 2 contingencies that are outstanding. Do you guys have any challenges with those within the time frame that we're being allotted here? It looks like 90 days or so.
Yes, we don't have any problem.
Okay. Commissioners, any discussion or questions? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Good luck with those programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your hard work. Number 7 is Stride University Orlando, number 13289. If you are here from that university, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group.
Good morning. Mark Giuliano, Stride University, President.
Good morning, Elizabeth DeBlasi, Director of Admissions.
Good morning, Dr. AJ with Otero Consulting Group.
Thank you all for being here. Have you guys read, do you understand the staff recommendations? It appears there's at least one contingency there around a pro forma ballot sheet.
We have.
Putting those pro formas together is sometimes depressing and sometimes exciting. I suppose it depends on how you look at it, right?
Opportunity.
Indeed. Oh, I am looking at this one that's below that. Apologies. Same page, different number. Thank you, Director. You do not have a pro forma balance sheet contingency. Would someone please give me a second cup of coffee? That would be nice. Okay. All right. Then my apologies for that. I was reading the wrong one.
We're still taking the opportunity.
No, hey, hey, we can have a pro forma discussion. It's fun sometimes, right? It really is. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Any public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 13289?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Granted. Thank you for being here. Apologies for my misspeaking
We
there.
appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you.
very much.
All right. Now we can have a pro forma balance sheet discussion. With number 8, Universidad Autónoma de Guadalajara, School of Medicine, Coral Gables, number 13008. Hello. Please introduce yourself at the podium. How are you?
Chair Williams and members, thank you so much for inviting us. Dean Dr. Kashif Ahmad at the UG School of Medicine International Program.
Good morning, Juan Irarragorri, UAG School of Medicine. And, I can talk about the contingency.
Thank you very much for being here, guys. Can you give me a brief summary of how your corporate structure is set up? I know you're foreign medical school. That's relatively rare in here for us, and I just want to talk through how your operations here relate to the remainder of your organization.
Sure. We are this year getting to our first 90th anniversary, and we are a non-for-profit organization based in Guadalajara, Mexico. We were established in 1935, and we are the first private university in our country. Usually universities were either governmental or religious run, and we're the first one that is neither of them.
So the first private university of any type, not just nonprofit?
Yes.
Wow, congrats on that.
So we are what is called an autonomous university. We were established because there were some leftist politics in Mexico in the 1930s, and our founders didn't agree with them, and they wanted freedom in the studies, right? So we were established 90 years ago. We began a very close relationship with U.S. citizens, American doctors, during the 1950s, and have been growing an international medicine program since then, since the time of the Korean War. And it has changed during time as legislation and requirements have changed also in the U.S., right? It's a 70-year history. Currently, we have a program. We have two medicine programs, our Mexican medicine program and our American medicine program, which is led by Dr. Kashif. Our American program is the same as any program in the U.S. It's a 4-year program. We have the same requirements as American schools for admissions in respect to previous college education, etc. It's in English, and we also have we have approximately 19,000 alumni, and we have clinicals we have the 2-year program in Guadalajara, and then we have the clinicals. We have 3 different options. One is clinicals in several states in the U.S., including California, Illinois, Arizona, and hopefully a new milestone in our first 90 years, Florida. And then we have the option in Puerto Rico for clinicals, and the option in Mexico for clinicals, of course. The 2 strongest ones are the U.S. And well, that's how we basically operate. We've been operating for 90 years. In respect to the balance sheet, I think it was, maybe I didn't understand exactly how to send the pro forma. We sent our financials with a US and US GAAP reconciliation, which is the same that we filed to the Department of Education every year. We are approved by all the accrediting agencies in Mexico and foreign accredited agencies that are recognized by the department. And well, that's our general structure. We have a board. We are not owners, but it's more like trustees. We have a fiduciary duty to take care of this legacy and continue with it.
Well, thank you for that. That's it's interesting. I did not expect you to say you were the very first in Mexico. That's pretty awesome. 1935, is that what I heard you say? Nice. Have you guys had the opportunity to review the staff recommendation? And there is a pro forma balance sheet contingency in there. Like I said, sometimes that's fun, sometimes it's not. I hope it was fun for you guys when you're putting that together. Always opportunity. But you understand that deficiency in the timeline required to have that submitted?
Yes, we're ready.
I think there's 90 days on that. Okay. It's a pretty unique structure. I'm excited to see what you guys do in Florida out of Coral Gables. Be interesting to see you progress here over time. And thank you for being here today. Commissioners, do you have questions or comments?
How many of the American students do you currently have in the program?
So we have about all our students are U.S. citizens in the international program. So we have about in total 1,200. We have two intakes, which is in the January intake and the June intake. So we take about 140 in the June, and we take roughly about 80 to 100 in the January intake.
But they're registered in your foreign programs,
Correct.
not an American program,
Yes.
obviously.
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Anything additional? Public comment?
Yes. Of course.
So how about the graduates? So you have to go to the, graduate have to go to the next program for international students. I assume you guys like Caribbean medical schools, you probably will graduate.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking that question. The question is about our students go through the same, the drill of completing their clinical rotations and taking the step exams, step 1 and step 2 CK exam, and then they will apply for the National Resident Matching Program like any other school. One of the things is we feel strongly that there's a shortage of Hispanic physicians. And we have a 10% decline from the AAMC statistics, so we want to fill that gap. But they will go through the same regulations of getting a residency in the state by completing their step 1, step 2 CK. Yes. Correct. Yes, they're eligible because the clinical rotation sites are actually approved, like what we were doing in Florida. They are approved by the authoritative bodies for those particular sites. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that the discussion will limit those in the future to the questions that are material to the staff recommendations that we have before us, if you don't mind. Are there any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations as presented? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much for being here.
Chair
Keep up the
Williamson,
good work,
thank you so
guys.
much. Appreciate it.
Number 9, I believe is the last in this section, is the University of Global Studies Orlando, number 13312. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group.
Juanita Corredor, University of Global Studies co-founder.
Morning, Jose Diaz, Campus Director of University of Global Studies.
Good morning, Dr. AJ, Otero Consulting Group.
Thank you all for being here. Have you guys had the opportunity to review, and are you familiar with the staff recommendations we're looking at that includes 2 contingencies?
Yes, we do.
That appears there's a municipal fire inspection and then some floor plan and physical plant deficiencies associated with that space.
They've been submitted.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioners, any comments or questions? Do I have any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 13312?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Section C is a return to annual license. There is one item in this section, which is the Essential School of Nursing, Miami Gardens, number 6219. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning. My name is Baudelaire Sainville, Director of Nursing.
It's good to see you again. How are you?
Likewise, I'm good, and yourself?
Never better. Have you had the opportunity to review the staff recommendations that we are assessing here before us that include 2 contingencies?
Reports, yes, I have.
Okay. Can you give us an update on your graduation improvement plan, where you are year to date, all of our data trails?
Yes. The graduation rate is going fine. We're about 70% graduation rate. However, we're still struggling with our passing score, Q1. One of the reasons for that, we have a lot of students that are lagging behind and they're coming in test again. And right now, as of last year, we're at 50% in the ADN program. And also we're at 56% in the LPN program. And moving forward, we're doing very well with our teach out plan. We started at 58 students. Right now we're at 17 students. We need to complete the program.
You mean within the RN and PN program?
Within the RN and the PN is 1.
Right. How many are left?
17 in the ADN and 1 in the PN.
And you talked about some of those students that are lagging behind. Have you been able to identify what's causing that?
It's delay. A lot of them are sick and then they're delaying to taking the NCLEX, and that's the reason.
You mean in the period between their completion of the program and when they're sitting for
correct.
the test?
Yes.
I'm sure it's perishable skills, right?
Right.
So have you taken action to narrow the gap between that?
Yes, we have calling them, and we're still working with Ms. Riggs NCLEX to review the NCLEX with them and allow them to take the test as soon as they show readiness for the NCLEX.
And are you doing those NCLEX readiness in-house? Is that something
online.
that
you're doing
it's
internally? It's
online.
not an external vendor?
It's
you're
not
using to help?
external pay, no.
Right. And do you know off the top of your head where that graduation rate is for your CNA program?
We're 86% for graduation for CNA program as far as graduation is concerned. However, even when we finish graduating them, they do have some language barrier. A lot of them we had an influx of a lot of students from the what you call the parole program, and a lot of them, the second language is Creole, and we teach them, they understand the meaning of the skills and everything else, but they do have a language barrier. We still have to work with them additionally, getting their language ESL in addition to that.
Do you feel like it's more prudent to assess and possibly assist them with that before the instruction? It seems backwards intuitively. I could be wrong about that.
You are correct, but at the same time, what we feel like right now we have instituted English as a second language in addition to that. So when we give them at least a good 3, 4, 6 months understanding the English language, and then they can move on into the CNA, and that's what's giving us some issues with the passing score for the CNA.
And remind me, the data that we have trails, and I think the impetus for the graduate improvement plan was a passage ratio of 6 or 7%. And where is that number now?
6 or 7% for which one? Which one of the program? I'm sorry.
Let me pull this up.
It's combined. It's for all programs that you currently have. And it's the 801 form.
No, it was 50% for the ADN program.
So when you fill out the 801 form and you put your data in there and you have your graduation or the graduates at the bottom, it takes all of the programs and you put your graduates that have graduated within 1.5 times their initial enrollment, and then it uses the other pieces of it to calculate your percentage. The most recent 801 data that we have on file is representing that it was a graduation rate of 6.38%.
I would have to revise that. I think it was 6.3.
6.38.
I would have to take a look at it again. And
should we ask for a third contingency on verifying the veracity of that data? Okay, so we don't need to. Okay, please.
And Commissioners, I would like to add a contingency at the table. It appears that we did an on-site visit in September 24th of 2024. There is still one item, I believe, one or more items that are open from that OSV. So we would like to add a third contingency that is correction of all deficiencies identified in the report for the on-site conducted on September 24th, 2024.
All right, Commissioners, do you have questions or comments? Do we have any public comment on this matter? Well, then, hearing none, do I have a motion to accept the staff recommendations as revised by the Executive Director? I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All moved and seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you again soon. Section D is application for annual license. There are 5 items in this section. We are going to take these individually. Number 1 is the Arizona College of Nursing, Melbourne, number 12574. If you're here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself. Hi.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sarah Bartholomew. I'm the Senior Director of Regulatory Affairs at Arizona
Thanks
College
for being
of
here,
Nursing.
Ms. Bartholomew.
Have you had the opportunity to review the staff recommendation that we have in front of us, including one contingency, which appears to be an on-site visit?
Yes.
Do you know if that on-site visit is scheduled or?
I do not believe so.
Okay. There is a 90-day timeline associated with that, TikTok. Can you give me, so everything that we have trails, can you give me a little bit of an update on where you are year to date?
Sure, we have roughly 50 students enrolled, which
50, 50?
50,
Okay.
yes, correct. Yeah, and that started in August. The campus opened in August of '24.
I am looking at the March 24, which is very old financial data, right? But it does have mid-tier and upper-tier six-digit numbers in the negative for both EBITDA and net income. And I know 12 months is a long time financially, but I have to ask, how that might have changed in the past 12 months and what your solvency associated with cash flow and to serve those 50 students is.
I'm sorry, I cannot answer the financial questions.
Okay.
I'd be happy to provide a response for you, though.
Do you know what you said current enrollment is 50?
Correct.
And I guess I'm wondering how many of those are graduating within the next short time period, how they lay over each other for enrollment. So I don't know when you have enrollments. If you could help me understand when those 50 are graduating and when you expect new tuition to come in.
So we enroll every semester,
Okay.
so 3 times a year,
Right.
right? And so the first set of students started in August of 2024, and it's a 9-semester program. So we have continual enrollments that are added to the program as the year goes on. So the first set of graduates will not happen for roughly 6 more semesters.
Right. And I know that your parent company's a large organization, right? And the reason I ask you the financial questions is because I wonder what their appetite is for that type of loss long-term and in the interest of the students. Yeah, sometimes folks decide to cut their losses, right, and say, okay, this didn't work the way we planned. And we just want to get ahead of that before those types of conversations are happening.
Absolutely. I don't think that will happen at all. We have 3 additional campuses in the state. We've made a significant investment in the campus and look forward to being able to show staff that campus and the resources that we've put into it. I'm sorry, I can't speak to
But the 50 is just for this one?
Just this one, yes.
Okay, that's what I'm trying
yeah.
to get to. Okay. All right, thank you for that. Commissioners, any additional questions, comments? Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12574?
I move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you. Number 2 in this section, Batania International University, Doral, 12796. If you are here from that institution, please come forward and introduce yourself. Hello.
Hello, Christopher DeSalvo with the Keenest Network.
Good morning, Luis Fabregas, President.
Angeli Gonzalez, translation purpose.
Well, thank you all for being here. There don't appear to be contingencies on our staff recommendations, but since you are here, I'd love to hear if you have questions or comments for the commission or how things are going since the trailing data that we're looking at, maybe year to date.
No questions or comments.
Can you tell us how things are going year to date?
Says school's going very good, that he doesn't have any comments. Everything's fine.
So that doesn't really answer my question.
So they currently have 42 students enrolled. They're only just over a year old, so they don't have too much more data than that.
No, the current enrollment where you are right now is not shown here, as you guys know, so that's what I'm looking for, just trying to understand. looking at your cash burn rate and how much money you had at the year end 5 months ago and knowing that how many students you have now helps. Thank you. All right. Commissioners, any additional questions or comments? Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12796?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck next year. Number 3 is International Lauderdale University Plantation number 12679. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Good morning, my name is Maynor Herrera. I'm the CEO of International Lauderdale University.
Good morning, Luis Martinez, PM, International Law University.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Have you had a chance to review the staff recommendations that we're assessing? That includes 4 contingencies that are outstanding.
Yes, and we are already start working on it.
Okay. On-site visit, some other contact, continuing education hours, financial audits, Form 604. The reason I'm outlining those is it's a 90-day timeline on those contingencies, so it's a narrow window to make sure we get all of those in.
Yes, we already start working with the audit. That is the one that it probably will take longer. So in the coming days, we'll send it to you, probably in around 2 days, I think. So it should be finished. And with the other contingencies, they are already fixed and ready to submit.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. All right. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a clarification question. There was a compilation back in August of '23 with substantial assets and liabilities, and then the data for 12/31/24 is a substantial reduction. Can you explain that to me, please?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, based on the information that I'm looking at, back in August 31st of '23, there was a compilation submitted that had millions of dollars in assets and liabilities, and then there was another review on December 31st, '24, and it's substantially less. Like it went from millions to like 24,000 in total assets. I'm trying to understand what the discrepancy is or what happened in that time frame.
It's probably because the 24 million was talking about the cash that it was earned during that month, and it's probably bad. It was a mistake in compiling the information. That's why we have the new audit right now to fix all that information and to clarify everything.
Yeah. So,
but with the assets still in about the million and something.
could you say that last sentence one more time, please? The assets, I'm sorry.
The assets still reflect in about 1,023,527.
Yeah, that's still, to the commissioner's point, $82 million in difference.
82 million? No.
I can tell by the look on your face that there may have been a typo.
Yeah, it's a typo. It's a typo. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a heart attack now.
Yeah. No, that would be nice, right? If it was the case. Yeah. So, what happened here? Okay, because I didn't see a parent. Okay. So, did you have a larger parent organization?
Yes, it's
Right.
Universidad Panamericana.
So is it possible that the compilation was from the larger parent organization, and now we're looking at your individual performance at this location?
Yeah, because our parent university is the Universidad Panamericana in Guatemala. We have over 22,000 students over there, and it's a huge institution.
Yep. So, for the record, I love seeing the individual performance, and that is the way we should see it, because it tells us how Florida students are being treated. But I understand why a compilation was relevant at the point of your inception when you began, because you didn't really have performance data in Florida to provide, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So what that means, though, is at the end of this year, that will trail off, and we'll just continue to see Florida's performance.
That's it. That's correct, yes.
However, the parent company balance sheet information is always relevant to us, and I'm pretty sure it's still required, but we won't confuse the two of them in the future. The way we're looking at it, I can see that. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you pointing out that, Commissioner. I'm embarrassed that I didn't see it myself. Right. Any further questions or comments? Gentlemen, anything to add? Hearing none. Any public comment? Hearing none. Do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 12679?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here. Appreciate
Thank you
the
for your time.
discussion.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Lincoln Memorial University, Tampa, number 13103. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself. Here comes trouble.
Come on. Are we going to go first? Hi, I'm Kim Carney. I'm the Dean of the proposed College of Veterinary Medicine at Orange Park.
I'm James Toldy. I'm the Campus Dean for the College of Osteopathic Medicine.
I'm Chris Loike. I'm the Executive Dean for the DeBusk College of Osteopathic Medicine.
Good morning. I'm Jay Stubblefield, Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs.
Thank you all for being here. So tell me about the first year, moving from provisional into annual.
So at this point, renovations are underway at the Orange Park location. We're juggling SAC COC requirements and AVMA COE and the COCA. And we are on track to have a CO for the Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine building by December 31st of this year, and the veterinary building by March 1st of 2026 to meet those accreditation requirements.
I remember this discussion vaguely, but can you update us on the renovations that you're referring to and the requirements associated with that? It's obviously not purely aesthetic, right?
Yes, there's framing, and so those buildings are being fitted up for an anticipated application to relocate those programs from the Tampa location where they're associated with the Masters of Veterinary Clinical Care at this point.
So it's a consolidation of sorts, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember going through this before. So we still are absent that on-site visit and some faculty listings. Those may or may not have been submitted already, I suppose.
So, Mr. Commissioner, the on-site visit can be scheduled to take place in Tampa for those Masters of Vet students.
Right.
And then that way, that'll take care of that contingency.
Right.
And then they'll be relocated after that once the CO in Orange Park is all finished.
Right.
And Dean Carney and Dean Toldy will certainly provide updated faculty listings to include that licensure information.
If I recall, there was going to be some reduction in expenses associated with this consolidation as well, if I'm remembering that correctly. You're going to just get some efficiency and synergies out of I'm going to call it an expansion, but you know what I mean.
It is. The new location will allow for more space to accommodate the new programs, especially the on-site ones. The Master of Veterinary Clinical Care is 100% online.
Right. Commissioners, do you guys have questions, comments? Is there public comment on the matter? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 13103?
Move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Good luck with the rest of your construction.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Number 5 is Nursing Network Christian School, Lauderhill, number 9075. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Hey there, Mark Murray, legal counsel for nurse. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry.
Your
I was
client's
just
name,
retained.
Your client's name, Mr. Murray, is Nursing Network Christian School.
Yes. My favorite client. Absolutely.
And Commissioners, in front of you today is Mr. Mark Murray, who is representing Nursing Network Christian School, but Nursing Network Christian School voluntarily relinquished its license that was issued, or initially issued on August 2nd of 2022, and that letter was received May 25th of 2025, and they will be conducting an orderly closure. So what we are asking of the Commissioners today is to acknowledge the receipt of the closure letter and the voluntary relinquishment of license.
As well, the clerk to order, the motion is for the clerk to order to direct the institution to conduct an orderly closure in accordance with the notice of voluntary relinquishment.
And were there concerns regarding the clinicals or anything else that was one state versus here, et cetera, that need to be illuminated, or is just the order closure suffice for our purposes?
That suffices.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Counselor, you have any questions?
No, just to add that they will be teaching out their students, and what I've heard is they anticipate everyone will be done by the end of November this year.
November of this year?
Yep. Now, if that changes, I'll let you know, but it's not like it's going to be several years they've got to do a teach out.
Okay. All right. Commissioners, any additional questions or comments?
Just how many students? I was just curious.
I don't remember the number, but it's not 300 or anything like that. It's a handful. It's just a handful.
Thank you.
All right. Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations as revised by the executive director?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Counselor. Section E is application for extension of annual license. There are none. Section F is application for annual renewal. There are 16 items. Do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. I will now ask each commissioner, if they have any they would like to pull. Commissioner Marty? No? Commissioner Caballero?
Pull 6 and 7?
Sure, I do have those. Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Caballero?
None additional.
Okay, none additional. Frantically flipping pages makes me think you might have one over there.
I'm trying to remember. Sorry.
We have 6 and 7 so far.
Yes, those for sure. No additional.
Okay. Director, any additional beyond 6 and 7?
No additional.
All right. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations, Section F, items 1 through 5 and 8 through 16?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Did I leave something out? Okay. All right. Then number 6. Is International College of Health Sciences, Boynton Beach. You guys hurt my feelings. You just leave. You don't want to hang out. Working hard up here. Your interest gets served. You leave us. Please travel safe. Yeah, right. It might cool off in here a little. Okay. You're already here?
I am.
International College of Health Sciences, Boynton Beach, number 4655, I presume?
Yes, Lisa Hilton, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer.
Thank you for being here. Have you read the staff recommendations that appear to have 2 contingencies
Yes, I
outstanding?
have.
Do you understand those?
Yes.
Do you have questions about them?
No.
Just remediation plans for pre-licensure nursing programs and faculty listings. We did have some questions regarding student count and clinical limits.
Okay.
Do you want to ask those, or do you want me to? Yep.
So when we were looking at your ASN enrollments for the last fiscal period, we noted that there were a reported 2,525 students in the program. Is that correct?
That's not correct. There had to be an
so
overlap.
what is your, that is why you were pulled. So
Okay.
what is your current enrollment?
We currently have 1,519, and we have about 200 of those are going to be in gen eds.
200 are gen eds.
I can get the exact numbers when I get back
Yeah,
to the office.
I think the question was because your clinical limit was around 500.
Correct.
And even 1,500 is 3 times that number, so.
So the way we do clinicals is a little bit different. Students come for about 3 weeks each time, and they have 12-hour days. So it should be, I think it's a little more than 500 is our clinical limit.
I believe it was around 580 was the total calculation. And for those clinicals, how many of those students out of the 1,500-ish are Florida students?
How many are Florida? About 200.
About 200 of them?
Maybe a little less than that. I can get the exact numbers. But
And
we have
then
less
the
than
remaining 1,300, when they're coming to the clinicals in Florida, because I believe you don't have any clinicals that are outside of Florida, is
No.
that correct? Okay. So when they're coming to your clinicals in Florida, is the institution paying for their travel and lodging, or how does that work?
No, the institution doesn't pay for travel and lodging. We make that up front in admissions and in our catalog that they are responsible for the lodging.
So does the methodology you're using allow you to triple that clinical limit from somewhere between 500 and 600 up to what sounds like 1,500?
Yes, it
How-
does.
I'm out of my depth here, so I'm wondering how that actually works.
So we have about 30, I want to say 35 locations, and we have students that are on 12-hour shifts, and we'll have them come for a 3-week period where they're doing 12 hours, and they'll do 5 to 6 days in a row, take a day off, do 5 to 6 days in a row, and doing their class once they get out of their clinicals. And their classes are online, and the lectures are recorded. So they're able to come for
How would it traditionally be done? If you're doing it that way, that's non-traditional.
Traditionally, I guess at a traditional school, they would come and they would do clinicals maybe twice a week for an 8-hour day. So they're coming and compacting those clinicals for that class at a very short time frame, but long days and like a regular.
Does that make sense to you, sir?
That's the traditional way? Yeah, I have a few questions also.
Yes, please.
That's okay,
I was
yeah.
hoping you would.
So my first question was around, do you incorporate a lot of clinical simulation in it? Because I know you can do that.
We have, well, our program's 810 hours, and we do 510 hours actually hands-on. That's not simulation. The remainder is simulation.
Okay.
So we'll do virtual simulation online, and then we also do that with the simulators in the lab as well. So they have lab days as well with that, the simulation lab.
Right, so it does help with your clinicals doing simulation.
Yes.
In terms of that. I understand that. And then I'm just curious, if they're going, like you said, 4 or 5 days a week, whatever the shifts are, how do you manage that? Because you need clinical faculty to be with them at the site. I'm just curious about how you manage that.
We have clinical faculty at the site. We have the whole entire time. We do have a big budget for clinical faculty. And then we also have a clinical scheduling team. They're not clinical faculty. They actually sit down and they go through and schedule every single student.
Coordinators?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, that way we don't see it every single time. Okay.
Did you say all of the clinicals were in Florida, or is one in New Jersey?
We have a BSN in New Jersey, but we try not to use them very often.
Okay. And do you have Board of Nursing approval in New Jersey?
Yes.
Have you submitted that to the CIE?
Probably a while back, but I can get that.
Sure.
Whatever you like.
So for the commissioners to consider 2 new contingencies.
Okay.
The number 3, because you already have 2 in front of you, would be the resubmission of the 801 data for the 23-24 reporting period for the nursing ASN program to reflect the accurate enrollment numbers. I believe right now we have the 2,500.
Okay.
And then the 4th contingency would be documentation of approval from the New Jersey Board of Nursing for your clinical site in New Jersey.
Okay.
Chair Williams, can I have one more question? Is that okay?
Yes. Sir.
Yeah. So my question is around your program. So you have the AS degree in nursing, and then you have the BSN.
Yes.
Now, is it a 2+2, or is the BSN a straight 4-year, or is you doing a 2+2?
It's a straight 4-year.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Anything additional, commissioners? Ma'am, do you have any additional questions?
Nope.
Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations, including the 2 additional contingencies outlined by the executive director?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate all of the explanation. Number 7 is Meridian West Central College, Sarasota, number 7814.
Hello, good morning.
Hi.
I am Brittany Goldstein-Culver from Meridian West Central College.
Thank you for being here. All right. Ma'am, we have a sizable staff recommendation here that includes 6 contingencies and apparently maybe 7.
I actually need to remove a contingency.
Oh, hey, look at
Hey,
that.
that's fantastic.
So, commissioners, you have in front of you, there are 6 contingencies. Currently, I am recommending removing contingency number 2, which is the submission of a placement improvement plan that was erroneously included in the summary sheets. There is also an order that the institution file progress reports with the commission for the September 2025 and January 2026 commission meetings. The report shall include information on placement, personnel placement activities, job development activities, and number of students placed for each graduating class to show the effectiveness of the plan per Rule 60-2.004-10C Florida Administrative Code. That sentence should be stricken.
Thank you.
Is it stricken or struck? I'm gonna go with stricken. I like it. For the record, I did have this number 2 contingency circled. I just didn't know why I circled it. And thank you, Executive Director, of reminding me why I had it circled. Can you tell us a little about how your progress has been so far? I know that original progress report came through in 21%, and everything we see always trails.
Are you talking about pass rates or
Yes.
placement rates? Okay, wonderful, yes. So we have been working on improving our pass rates. We've done a sizable reconstruction of our end of program outcomes. So we hired a new team, we have a new dean, we hired new faculty, and we really revamped our curriculum to meet the new NCLEX guidelines and to kind of put a better structure in place for passing. We have a whole new end of program course, Transition to Nursing, that implements Elsevier's new practices for next generation testing, and the way it delivers the testing exams is over and over and over and over, and then the remediation is provided to them based on their strengths and weaknesses. So, just like you can't, every student learns differently, this approach really narrows down what each person is struggling with and gives them the tools that they need to remediate. So we have definitely seen an increase in our pass rate since then. So far for this quarter, we have not had any test takers, or no, we had 1 test taker. So I don't have that much to report for 2025, but we do feel that by the end of this year, we'll have a tremendous difference in our pass rates for the associates program. For the LPN program, we have not had any test takers yet. We are about to graduate our first cohort, and in that new program that I'm speaking of, they have all been scoring 1,000 or above compared to the national average on their HESI exit exams. So that's already very promising, and we're really looking forward to sending them. Then for our CNA program, we have like a 90% pass rate now, so we're really excited about that.
Nice. How many do you have that were scoring so high on their preparation? How many of those students are preparing to take the test, I guess, is what I'm wondering.
4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Commissioner Batista, you got any questions on this one?
Just overall concern about the NCLEX pass rates. They're so low. And so remediation would be really
Yes.
suggested highly, because at some point, I would assume the Board of Nursing would put you on probation if these pass rates continue.
Understood. And we also just went through our ABHAS site visit, so we received a tremendous amount of wonderful feedback from them as well for implementing in our remediation. And, you know, we're already seeing the fruits of our labor in implementing those changes.
To your knowledge, though, you haven't been placed on probation?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Commissioners, anything additional? Any public comment?
Can we have a clarification? So the recommendation's been altered. We are omitting number 2.
Yes.
As well as omitting the first of the orders to file a progress report. Is that correct?
Yes, and he correctly used the word omitting.
Then, if there's no other discussion, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations as revised by the director and clarified by counselor?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Good luck. We really hope you come back with some big numbers for us, okay?
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you with all of my wonderful updates next time. Have a great day.
Thank you. Number 8, Moore Marine College. Wait, oh, we're moving past that, aren't we? Because we only pulled 6 and 7. Sure. How do you guys feel about taking a very short break since we have some good momentum? Let's take 10, 12 minutes and come back about 18 till. Sound good? Yes. Awesome. See you in just a minute then. Whoa. We will come back to order with Section G of application for license by means of accreditation. We are taking this section individually as there is only one item in it. It is the International Institute of Orthotics and Prosthetics, Tampa, number 6040. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself. No one here? All right. Director, do you have anything additional since we had discussed the graduation rate here that perhaps the commission needs to talk through?
I do not.
All right, then we are going to leave the single contingency of a graduation improvement plan. Commissioners, any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 6040?
So move.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much. We are in section H. There are two items. Do I have a motion to accept these two items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Commissioner Batista, would you like to pull either of these two?
No. I'm good.
Commissioner Caballero?
No.
Commissioner Marty?
No.
Director?
No.
All right. With none pulled, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for section H items 1 and 2?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Section I is annual review of license by means of accreditation. There are 8 items. Do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. As I understand it, we will be pulling number 1. Commissioner Batista, do you have any additional?
Just, I think we were moving
Number
number 4 to section M.
Yes, sir. But, so it's still pulled, it's just, right, we're just not going to consider it in the section. Thank you for that. Okay, yes, sir, number 1 and 4. Commissioner Caballero?
None other?
Commissioner Marty?
No.
All right, Director, those are the only 2? Correct. And to be clear, we are not pulling for consideration number 4, we are moving it to section M. We are pulling number 1 then. So then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for section I numbers 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7, and 8?
So move.
Moved and seconded. All in
Second.
favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Let's move to number 1, which is Advanced Science International College, Miami Lakes, number 2007.
Hello,
Hello there.
Commissioners. I'm Pablo Perez. Pablo Perez and
Dr. Perez, Director.
Bob Harris, Legal Counsel. Cameron Carson's Legal Counsel.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Have you had an opportunity to review staff recommendations that we are considering here today?
Yes, we have.
Outstanding. The only note that I had was that we were going to discuss the BS program and a remediation plan. Do you have verbiage or something you'd like to add there?
Before we get to that, I wanted to ask you about that BSN program. We had alerted the school or requested an explanation to how there were 6 testers in 2024 under the NCLEX code when the program hadn't been approved by CIE. I know you had contacted the Board of Nursing right around February of 2025 and asked for some explanation or to get that clarified, and that they were going to provide you something back. Have you heard back from the Board of Nursing regarding that matter?
We have not. The one thing when I spoke with the Florida Board of Nursing, what they stated is that sometimes students have the tendency of putting in the wrong number at that point, because they have the numbers from before, but the BSN program, we don't know. Maybe they told us that they most likely searched online, saw the school and saw, oh, BSN, and that's what they were, even though they had what they had authorization to take exam for was the Associate of Science.
Let me add something there. But there is a trend since 2015. So it's out of the blue, people take exams, associates, bachelors, and they never know. They're coming from marine something, and some fantastic French names from Polynesia, Hawaii, New York. I love New York. And when we called the board, they said, well, we will do this. Sherry Sutton, Director Sutton is fantastic. And I'm a little cowboy sometimes, but she said, Dr. Perez, send me names. That's what we do. This time with this report, we said we have never had in this Bachelor in Science, since it was approved in 2020, one student. It was an extensive response. Nothing.
And Ms. Hurst, I too have talked to Dr. Sutton Johnson about this.
Can you get the mic there, Counselor? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Not being able to hear me is unusual, but we did talk to her, and they're going through a lot of schools on this same type of situation, especially students. There's students supposedly coming from Hawaii that are putting names down, and so they're involved in a number of institutions with this issue, and that's probably why there's a bit of a backlog. So we have not heard from her directly about that, but they're looking into it.
And one small thing. Some of the students that reported, I believe a couple of them, or 2 out of those 6, they had graduated almost a year or so before. So when they applied to take the exam, it was one of those issues where we had no Bachelor of Science in Nursing, but when they looked at the numbers, they saw, oh, this is the one, and they just plugged it in. We've never had a single student enroll for the BSN. We've never had authorization to actually do it from Florida Commission of Independent Education.
So let me make sure I'm following, because it's not my area of expertise. Data that's being entered by a student, God knows where, right, is creating the appearance of insufficient or in need of remediation plan passage rates that don't even apply to your particular institution. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah, absolutely. That is correct. Again, it's happening in a lot of institutions, especially, as Dr. Perez said, especially when the institution may have graduated from another institution some years ago. If you see some of the data that's coming out, that came out in 2024, there are students that have graduated from a particular institution 13 to 15 years later. Put down a number, and then it's associated with that particular institution. And so the department has to go through the board has to go through all that and try to figure out where exactly it should be allocated.
So there's no barrier for those students who are entering something to prevent them from entering that inaccurate information. So here, and this is, I'm not going to belabor the point here, but you've been around long enough to know this, Counselor, is could there not be something sent from the institution that says you have completed, you can click this link and it allows you to fill in the accurate information based on the program that you completed, rather than them just going to a different website and typoing some number that's not accurate?
2 things. Institutions are to some extent involved in those type of things to assist, but one of the things that we have recommended this year extensively to the board, as well as frankly to the legislature, is the institution needs to be much, much more involved in that process. So these types of errors do not, unfortunately, what we suggested was not adopted, but again, we have suggested that to them. Institutions need to be much more involved so that does not happen as often. Again, it happens mostly with students that have finished school some time ago and are just not, as Pablo said, it's just not as attuned to what the correct number is.
Does this happen to state institutions?
I believe it probably does. I don't know that for sure, but I assume it does.
I guess what I'm asking is, do they have different methodologies that prevents that from happening?
Nope.
So it does apply to state institutions. So it's not a CIE issue. It's not a your organization issue. It's something outside that. It's a Tallahassee issue, really.
Right.
Right.
And again, and the board does again,
say
I
that
think
like
they
that.
do amazing work, but again, but they just have to check into it. They have so many of them that where this happens, that it's a backlog, so.
Could I add something? To add something.
Wow, okay.
And just for our CIE records, because we have, on our side, we can see those testers. We're still waiting for the Board of Nursing to take some kind of action to remove them. I'm going to recommend, and I'll have Counselor add to this, that a potential contingency that the institution provide us an affidavit that they did not have testers in that 2024 year, and that way it is on record with CIE that you're attesting that you did not have testers, and that way it'll be legally binding on our side. And then I would also encourage you that when you get whatever documentation from the Board of Nursing, when they get around to your school, to start looking to see whether these these students were erroneously put into the system, that you provide that information to CIE too. As you know, the Board of Nursing looks every year to determine whether you need to be put on probation. So with you having 6 students reported under your testing code at a 33% pass rate, you can imagine that that's going to, if it's not corrected quickly, that could harm your institution down the road. So I just...
Absolutely, we can do that. Yes, ma'am.
And separately, I'd be interested if you wouldn't mind forwarding me the legislation that was put forth that did not get adopted, just so that I could read it.
Send you the whole thing. It will keep you up at night, and you will be excited by reading it. Yep.
Light reading, I'm sure. Thank you for that.
So Executive Director Hurst, just to be clear, is the sworn attestation that is desired that there have not been any enrollments in the BSN program?
Yes, that there were no enrollments in the BSN program prior to approval of the BSN program in May of 2025. I believe that was your approval date,
We'll
correct?
address specifically that those students were specifically, the list, were not enrolled, just so you have that as well.
And so, Mr. Harris, you have no objection to your client submitting a sworn affidavit under pain of felony perjury to that effect?
You are the law.
He's so subtle.
So I'm sorry. We are great with that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, no objection?
No, no,
Mr.
no.
Harris? Okay.
All right.
Well, hold on. No, I have no objection, but I do have an objection to you talking about felony perjury. It's unnecessary. That was completely unnecessary.
No, I'm sorry. Let me just be clear. The reason is because we've done this before with other schools. The clerked order will specify the format of the affidavit and will cite to the pertinent statute, which will provide the language in which the affirmation will be made. I was not trying to imply at all anything improper about this institution.
Yeah, after practicing law for 45 years, I'm familiar with affidavits. Thank you, sir.
So, anything further?
No, we are so content.
That's a good point. Do we need 90 days?
Is 90 days sufficient for that contingency?
Okay, yeah. All right. Any public comment? Sir?
Just to be aware that the Board of Nursing started a portal for institutions, and we will be able to also look into the correct linking. And what has happened just the last couple of months is they actually, when the student gets the ATT, authorization to test, they are going to get the code that they're supposed to put in. Because if you go on the Pearson website, you can actually put in other codes.
But is viewing and receiving that a requirement, or is it, right? So it's not compulsory for them, so they still may put something incorrect.
But the instructions that the students are getting are saying you have to use this code
Right.
from the authorization to test.
Right. Okay, fair enough. Thank you for that, sir. Yeah, well, it sounds like the problem's not going to get solved in this room, right? So thank you for that. All right, commissioners, anything further?
Chair Williams, I'll just make comments since you talked about state institutions. It is a little different.
Is it?
Yeah, when a student graduates from an ASM program, we have to submit that information to the Board of Nursing, and they will then issue, if it's not submitted, then the student cannot actually take the NCLEX test. So we as an institution need to submit that information to the Board of Nursing, and then when their record's there, they issue with a code for the student to take the NCLEX.
But can those students enter something erroneously
They
and still be
possibly
able to
could,
take the
but
test?
there's a process involved where a student just can't go take the NCLEX.
Right.
At least that's the way it is for state
So
institutions.
there's a small piece that maybe is preventative, but not necessarily curative,
That's
right,
correct.
of the issue?
Yeah.
Okay, no, thanks for that clarification. I had just hoped to hear that maybe the state had that solved, that it could be applied to everything within this body as well if it had been solved, but, okay, maybe not.
We go through the same process. We do the authorization to test and so forth, but it does happen. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen.
Fair enough.
And if I may add one, nope, no, okay.
All right. Anything further? I hate when we talk so long and we don't get anything solved. But we appreciate the clarification on your part because it's great to know, that was indeed not the case from a passage rate and something we can all work on outside of this room, right, together. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation, including the revisions for the director?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, we are moving number 4 to section M, so that moves us along to section J, application for program approval modifications. Do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Commissioner Batista, do you have any you would like to pull?
No. Thank you.
1, 2, there are 3 items here, right? Yeah, so out of those 3. Commissioner Caballero?
No, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Marty?
Isn't it? I thought I had 1 and 3. No? What?
Section J.
I'm in the wrong session. Then none.
Okay. Then hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation, section J, items 1 through 3?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those motions carry. Section K is motion for extension of license. Do I have, how many we have here? 3 more. Do I have a motion to accept these 3 items by consent?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Commissioner Marty, would you like to pull any of these 3?
No.
Commissioner Batista?
No.
Commissioner Caballero?
No, thank you.
Trader. Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for section K items 1 through 3?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That takes us to section L where there are none, which was motion for request extension to comply. Section M is a substantive change approval. How many are there total here? 8. Right, so there's 8 total here. I have noted that first, do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
Summit.
Do I have a
Second.
second? Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I have a note that we would be pulling, ironically enough, numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8, with the 8 being number 4 that we relocated previously. So, Commissioner Batista, do you have any additional you would like to pull?
No, I do not.
Commissioner Caballero?
No, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Marty?
No.
Director?
No.
So if I'm doing this correctly, and I feel about 50-50 confident that I am, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for numbers 2, 4, and 6 in section M?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. We can begin Section M with number 1, Chamberlain University Miramar, number 4503. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself. Hello, thanks you being here.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Lila McKenna, the Executive Dean at the Miramar campus for Chamberlain.
Get closer, get closer.
Dr. Lila McKenna, Miramar campus Executive Dean.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Donna Marole. I am the campus president for the Chamberlain Jacksonville campus.
Dr. Ann Muñana, Director of Accreditation. Nelda Webb, Member of Accreditation.
And Bob Harris, Legal Counsel.
Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate your time. Have you all had the opportunity to review the staff recommendations that look to appear at least one contingency? Are you familiar with those, or do you have any questions or comments about what we're reviewing here?
Not this time.
It looks to be a Form 609A, Professional Nursing Student Disclosure Form, with 30 days of that clerked order. Are you guys comfortable with that timeline?
Yes.
Okay, just usually it's a little longer. I've felt obligated to bring that up. So I would love to get some more updated data on your performance. Everything we have trails. I say that a lot in here, but talking about BSN and probationary issues, just tell me where we are right now year to date, about to close out Q2.
We're actually doing really well. So obviously we ended it in a bad note on 24, but for quarter 1, we were at a 9% increase, and then for quarter 2, obviously unofficially, we're sitting at a 90%.
What do you attribute that increase to? What did you guys change?
Well, I was part of the plan, but we have obviously we have faculty, we have remediation that we provided to the students. And so in the last quarter, in the spring quarter, we started to do do a 8-week prep, and that includes a remediation, a mentor, and obviously additional assignments. So that's been really helpful with the students.
Do you feel like those changes are something that you're implementing in perpetuity? Is this systemic now?
I believe so, yes.
Right. Okay. Commissioner Batista, you are much more talented than I in having these discussions, so I would welcome you to jump in here to talk about the changes that she just talked about.
Yeah, I mean, it is a process in terms of the curriculum and modifications you made for a curriculum to help the students. There is a lot of remediation. I'm very much well aware of that. They do need a lot of help along the way because of the nature of the program and how difficult a program can be. So I appreciate you taking a look and modifying your curriculum to improve your rates. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Let me bring up. Forgive me just one second, please. So how has those challenges affected you guys from an enrollment velocity standpoint? Are you meeting where you thought you would be at the end of May for this year?
Not quite. No.
How close is not quite? Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Our enrollment was low.
I'm sorry?
Our enrollment was low.
Has that decrease in enrollment velocity undermine you guys' financial stability in any way? Do you feel?
No, sir.
No? Okay. So the students that you have now, you feel confident in your ability to continue this momentum without constraint?
Correct.
Of any sort. Okay. Commissioners, do you guys have any questions for comments additionally?
No, just to follow up on the lower enrollment, do you have any information on why that occurred, or is it just natural? Or because I've been looking at your history of enrollments, and it has declined over the last few years. So
I don't have that information, but I can get it for you.
I was just wondering if you had that, so.
No, I do not.
Can you help me understand the differences between your Miramar and your Jacksonville, just how they're set up structurally? There's a significant difference in assets, and I'm assuming it's probably real estate of some sort, but can you tell me understand the differences in those two?
I don't know that.
No?
No, I'm sorry, I don't have that
Let
information.
me tell you why I'm asking is when I look at your balance sheet for ending about a year ago today, the Jacksonville is 2.5, the Miramar is 27.2, right? There's massive differences between those two, and I'm just trying to understand where that falls. It showing as a lease, but Caballero, you think this is probably right of use that's just being added to the balance sheet because they have a long-term lease there? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, the new disclosure.
Yeah, right. Okay. It just skews it. I hate putting right of use on the balance sheet right there because it makes it look so much different than the actual financial performance, right?
Correct.
I know me hating it doesn't change standard accounting practices. But God, if it could, that would be nice. All right. Director, do you have anything further?
I do not.
Okay. Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 4503?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, ladies. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you for your
Thank you for
time.
your patience, too.
Thank you.
Okay, number 3. New Professions Technical Institute, Miami, number 1556. If you are here from that institution, please come to the podium and introduce yourself.
The gentleman alerted us that he's in a conference and wouldn't be able to attend.
All right. So as a review then, an ASN program on probation with a 47-ish% passage rate, warning status with the accreditor. Not going to be here to discuss these issues, but 6 contingencies on the staff recommendations. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments that we can discuss? I would like to note for the record that there are 6 contingencies, and it is a 30-day timeline to have those met. If you have no questions or comments, Commissioners, I'll take a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 1556.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries, and I believe we move to number 5, which is South Florida College of Nursing, Doral, number 5697. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Henry Olivera, Dean and CEO.
Good morning, David Friera, COO. Good morning, Chris Gutierrez, CFO.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen. Appreciate your patience getting to you late in the day like this. Well, I say late, it's not even noon, but it feels late, right?
For lunch.
Have you guys had the opportunity to review the staff recommendations and what appears to be one contingency that is outstanding?
Yes, sir.
Any issues or questions about that?
No, sir.
All right. I'm looking at the ASN probation number out of 24, and I'm reminded by the Bob Euchre line of missed it by that much, right? Yes. So, not to make light of it, 76.92 is not the worst that we have seen today, right? But was close to, obviously, the standard that would have kept you off probation. Can you update us on where you are with that now? Because I know that's trailing from the end of 2024.
Oh, absolutely. Got the numbers?
Actually, we're hitting record numbers once again. We did update the commission in March, but we've continued that trend. Right now, we're sitting at 19 testers have gone, 17 have passed on their first try.
For you.
We're at 89.67. We have about 10 lined up, ready to go, doing great.
What do you attribute that uptick in percentage to?
A lot of it has to do with the remediation efforts that we put in place last year. It's just kind of now developing, and it's kind of showing a lot of these students are now in their final semesters, and they're proving that this plan that we put in place is working.
Nice.
We really dug into this.
And how many students do you have right now?
We have about, in the ASN program, we have about 160 or so students. in that program, yes.
And you said 17 or so, or 19 or so, or 17 passed out of 19?
Correct.
Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, correct. We've sent 19 just for this quarter
Right.
thus far. For quarter one, and some data that we have from quarter two that hasn't been released.
Do you have another group about to test soon?
Yeah, we have about 10 cleared, ready to go, and we feel pretty confident with these guys as well.
And for just right before walking in May, they also, 4 of them actually passed their boards and they walked as registered nurses.
Awesome.
All right. You guys, I would like to point out, you guys made a massive jump. You know, you look at 2021, 2022, and then in 2023, it was, you doubled, right, in size. It's easy when, it's hard to maintain quality when you're increasing quantity. It's really hard. So you guys came very close on that, and it sounds like you put the systems in place to rectify that going forward. Commissioner Batista, you have additional questions on that?
No, the only question I had was, has the substantive change fee been sent in yet? That was one of the...
On our side, we haven't received it yet. Have you sent in the payment at this point for the $1,000 fee for the substantive change?
Yes, we have actually sent that last year. That was cashed. It just took a very long time to add the other part, but that was taken care of a long time.
So I can speak from experience that those dollars go to the Florida Department of Education, and which is similar to a vast, dark abyss from which there is no return.
Yes.
Can you forward me a copy of that check? You can send it to your program specialist and send it also to the CIE info, so that way we can track it down.
It may just be a reconciliation thing, right?
It could be.
Well, we'll do. We also, we actually, like, 2 years ago, we actually were thinking about adding an MSS program, and we even send money for that, but that's still also in the abyss.
Also send me that.
But it's okay. We can leave it there. And in the future, we're looking higher plans.
But please send me the tracking information so we can actually track it to see where it is.
Will do.
We'd appreciate it.
All right. Commissioners, do you have any additional questions or comments? Any public comment? I would like to say thank you for your comment earlier, helping us sort out the accuracies and inaccuracies. Appreciate you chiming in on that. Do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 5697?
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
I believe we're skipping to number 7, right? Sunlight Healthcare Academy, Longwood, number 7907. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself. Hello.
Hello, Erna Senaris McCabe, Dean with Sunlight Healthcare Academy.
Hello, Florette Sanjik, the School Director.
Hello, Dr. Miller, Assistant Dean.
Dr. Jose Otero, Otero Consulting Group.
Thank you all for being here. Thanks for your patience. Have you ladies had the opportunity to review the staff recommendations that include 7 different contingencies that we're reviewing?
Yes.
Do you have any questions or comments about those contingencies?
Not at this moment.
I like to note, as you have heard me do before, that those are to be met within 30 days of that clerked order. And given the speed of counselor, that's probably not very far past 30 days of that clerked order coming out. I just want to make sure you're prepared for that timeline.
Yes, Commissioners.
Okay. So can we talk about your ASN PN programs, how they're doing year to date, please?
Yes, and so we have made significant changes to our program, to the design of it. Also the admission and screening, faculty training. Some of those changes we've done, we did an internal review where we look at the data, the performance of the students, and we've correlated that. Students typically who are able to maintain the rigors of the nursing program has higher T-scores. And so we've scraped TABE and move on with T's as requirement, and we've increased the score that is required too for admission. We have board review to assess those students for candidacy. We also brought on dean, assistant dean to our staff that help us tremendously with developing and maintaining remediation and NCLEX review to our students, staff training. We also had integrity issues related to our testing bank, and so we've been able to do in-house testing. We also were able to do a lockdown browser to our computers that prevent students from veering off the
So
screen.
YouTube doesn't help your curriculum or passage rates, and so.
You know, AI is good, but we are having our struggles there too. And so doing all of those improvements has significantly helped us, and we see it reflecting in the trend for our NCLEX score for Q1. It's standing at 100. We are a smaller institution, and so we currently have about 33 students enrolled, and so Q1 was 100%. We don't have any students yet to clear for the practical nursing to test, but we look very good that with the scores that we're getting with the training remediation, that we're going to be able to get out of probation come January with the scores.
Well, I like your optimism, and I appreciate the thorough response there. Let me pull. How many students do you have right now?
33.
33. And last year, you're just under 100 or so? Something like that?
Yes.
Are you where you thought you would be this year for 25?
Well, with the consideration of being put on probation, students underperformance, really we're just focusing on current students we have to improve their scores and ability to secure placement and help with the nursing gap. And so we are enrolling, but we are focusing heavily on the students we already have.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The reason why I'm asking you that is sometimes, well, almost every time remediation plans and revisions for quality get expensive, right? And it costs you additional infrastructure and additional cash, and you're trying to carry that load. And I'm just wondering about how that has affected your sustainability or your liquidity, et cetera. That's why I'm asking.
It hasn't really. We are fully staffed with lots of simulation lab, which is pretty awesome. So we're able to sustain the training.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comments?
I just have a question regarding, do you, in terms of how you screen your student candidates, do you use any prereqs as an indicator of how students would perform once they actually enter into the actual nursing curriculum?
So we do have our prerequisites, that is requirements. However, with our internal review, what we were able to tie to the strength of the student is their T-scores. We've seen students with higher T-score are able to sustain the rigors of the program. And so that's why we've increased the score for the Ts as part of the requirement.
Commissioners, any additional questions? Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 7907?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate the
Thank you.
discussion. Good luck.
Thank you.
Number 8 is actually number 4 that was relocated. Let me get back to there. That would be Hobie Sound Bible College, number 2577. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself. How you doing?
Just fine, how are you?
Never better.
Aaron Hamilton, Chief Academic Officer from Hobe Sound Bible College.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Hamilton. We appreciate your time. Are you familiar with the staff recommendations we're looking at that include 4 separate contingencies?
I am.
Do you have any questions or comments about that?
I do not.
And those contingencies are to be met within 30 days of the clerk order?
I'm aware, yes.
You good with that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you mind if we have a little bit of conversation around your negative working capital and sustainability, et cetera? For that, can you kind of tell me where things are this year, since what we look at is aged?
Sure. We're better financially this year than we were last year. One of the challenges, well, it wasn't a challenge. We finished a building last year. So previously we had capital that we expended in finishing the building. I know on this, our first audit that we submitted gave a negative net income, but we submitted an adjusted audit. So I think it shows $39,000. It went to $33,000 in the positive. So we submitted an updated audit.
Sure.
A couple of weeks ago, probably a month ago, something like that. So that was the primary reason for the negative working capital. We completed a building. We had a large number of accounts payable, or accounts payable was a large number. But we received shortly after the beginning of this fiscal year a large donation to cover the majority of those.
Good for you. Is that something you expect to see more of in the future?
Well, I would like to say yes.
Well, I didn't know who that donation arrived
So
from, if it was something that is perhaps recurring.
This donor is very generous and gives on a regular basis,
Nice.
fairly large.
Okay, good for you. Commissioner Caballero, do you have questions about how those numbers came together? You feel okay with that?
Yes, no question.
I really appreciate that. It's obviously in the best interest of students for us to have the solvency to serve them.
Sure. Oh, I
right,
understand.
once they're enrolled. Director, do you have anything additional? No. All right. Then, is there any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 2577?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir.
No problem.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Safe travels, Mr. Hamilton. That moves us to section O. What? Oh, I skipped in. O is at the bottom of the page, and there is none in. There are none in for branch campus applications, which moves us to O, where there is one. Orlando Health Sciences University Winter Garden, number 10184. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having us. My name is Chad Tujag, the president of the Orlando Health Sciences University.
Chris Giorgetti, Santoro, Ferguson, and Giorgetti.
Thank you for being here, gentlemen. I would love to hear it. This is a big branding change, and I just want to hear the impetus behind it and how you think that's going to positively impact your performance.
Well, so yeah, it's multifold, and I think the impact, the vision for the Patel family, they do like their name, as they're on.
We all do.
Yeah. Is to sort of reach a more global aspect, and so with the medical schools that he's building in Zambia and in India, is to hopefully find a way to create a model that's sustainable for delivering a high-quality U.S. curated education abroad.
Right.
And so this is the beginning, first step of that. The other thing is on our board, we do have Orlando Health System, and they're amazing partners, and to be better stewards to them and reduce possibly marketplace confusion, we thought this was just like a perfect feel-good thing to do.
I think that's fair. Yeah, it could be limiting to you and confusing with them, right?
Correct. Even actually, we get a ton of like unemployment claims from them, and like, hey, listen, we're we think that these are talented people, but they did not ever work here.
Right, right. Okay, no, I mean, there are fewer and fewer unique names and words in the world these days, so I can appreciate it. It makes a little more sense to me now having this conversation. I agree with what you're saying and appreciate you explaining it to us. Commissioners, do you have questions or comments about this? Any public comment? Hearing none, do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations for number 10184?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chair
Appreciate
Williams.
your time.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us to Section P, which is religious colleges and sworn affidavits. There are 70. Yes, ma'am. Oh, there are 70 items in this section. Don't put your thumb on the button if you not have anything to say now. Right. Do I have a motion to accept these items by consent?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Commissioner Marty, would you have anyone you would like to pull from this list? What? No, I'm going to end with you. Commissioner Batista?
No.
Commissioner Caballero?
No.
Executive Director.
Yes. So number 1, number 9, number 15, number 27, number 30, and number 35.
I'd like to state for the record that 48 hours ago, the director told me there were no polls. You have been a busy little bee.
48 hours is a long time.
It really is. Okay, so let me see if I can get this right the first time. Do I have a motion to accept staff recommendation for Section P, items 2 through 8, 10 through 14, 16 through 26, 28, 29, 31 through 30, through 34, and 36 through 70?
That's correct.
So moved.
Down it.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Let's start with number 1. And forgive me for not being able to pronounce.
So these are, when we pull them, staff will work behind the scenes with the institutions to correct their affidavits. So you are accepting the other affidavits, but the rest of them are just not being considered. But I would like to go through and talk about why I'm pulling them, each one, just for the record.
The floor is yours.
So for the first one is the first institution, that is the Arya University. There appears to be programs and/or college names on the website that do not appear to include a religious modifier. For number 9, Beacon Bible Institute, the sworn affidavit received is dated 2018. For number 15, the Christian Leaders Institute, Largo, the sworn affidavit does not appear to be properly notarized. For number 27, the Hindu University of America in Groveland, the programs appear to be missing religious modifiers. Number 30, Jesus is Lord International University in Vero Beach. The affidavit appears to be a previous affidavit that had already been sent that was notarized in 2024. For number 35, Lincolnson Global Christian University, it appears the program names lack religious modifiers.
Is anyone from those schools present who would like to speak on their behalf or have a comment? Numbers 1, 9, 15, 27, 30, and 35. All right. Then we do not need a motion because they are not being considered, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Director. That moves us to section Q, where there are none. And item 7, improper school closures, where there is one. Burnett International College, West Palm Beach, number 4436. If you are here from that institution, please step forward and introduce yourself. Hello, sir. Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Burnett, President of Burnett International College.
Sir, are you aware of the staff recommendations that we are assessing here, finding that the institution has failed to conduct an orderly closure?
Yes, I aware about everything, but it's not proper closure because we are not intent to close the school. We are in preparation to send all of the document since April to be in the agenda July, but the financial statement was not prepared. And what now we prepare, we just rent a place and we find a place, and we just get the certificate of the city. And we are in preparation of getting the fire department and all of the document, especially the financial statement, to bring everything together to be there by July so that we can be in the November meeting. It's the reason why I am present when I receive this, because the reason why we didn't send any letter, because we don't have an intention to close the school.
So am I understanding you correctly that you're saying you don't have the intention to conduct an orderly closure?
Yes.
Is that correct?
No, yes, because we're preparing to send all of the document by the end of July, so that the August 1st, and so that we can be in the meeting for November meeting.
Counselor, is there a clerked order for that orderly closure that we want to speak to?
But I sent a letter on the 27th to Jason to give the proper explanations, and the new address will be in the letter that where we are going to be.
Let's just back up and understand the original clerked order.
Sure. So this item was placed on the agenda under the presupposition that the institution had effectively been abandoned and closed. And so this was just to have the commission vote to find that the closure had been precipitous and not orderly. It appears, based on what this commission has heard, that the institution has not closed. On the other hand, it also appears that it has been several years since the institution has submitted an application to renew its licensure, and that it has been inoperative during that time period.
Is that the case, sir?
Yes, it was the case, because myself was in charge of the university. I had a stroke and I was very sick. And at this period of time, and I intend to open in 2024. And I think Chris DiSalvo came to visit the new place that I sent the address to visit. At this time, he was the specialist for the school. And then after, I get sick, because I think the last time I came, it was in December 2023. And I get sick again, and I could not send all of the paper. At this time, I get one of the consultants that I work with, and I always send all of my documents to that consultant so that to present. But I was sick, I could not be there, and everything become dormant. But to the fact I'm returned and I'm okay, and I intend to open the school, to continue the school. Is the reason why I just rent a place, lease a place for the school, and I prepare to send all of the documents.
Are you totally alone in the operation of this school?
No, it is a group of people, but
So do you have employees or administrative assistants or people like that?
I did have all of those, because when I get
Are they
sick,
not capable of filling out and completing
filling
the
out
applications?
of most of the documents, but most of the time when I get the document to fill, I send them to my consultant, and the consultant fill look at it.
Is your consultant here today?
But is there, but we did not we were not in connection for a while. It was the OTO consultant who used to work for Burnett International College.
Dr. Otero, do you want to speak to that at all, or do you want to be left out of this conversation? I'm sorry, could you say that a little louder, buddy? Can you hit the microphone so we can get that on the record, please?
Otero Consulting Group has not been involved with Burnett International College, and for probably about 4 or 5 years.
So 3 years. Yes. since I get sick. Because
Okay.
when,
So I guess my point, sir, is that you have a team of people, and I appreciate the fact that you were sick, but the fact remains that you have to submit these documents every year to remain licensed. And during this period, there was no reason for the commission to think anything other than that the school had been abandoned because of the time period between 3-4 years ago and today. So you understand our perception that the school license had been abandoned?
yes.
Okay. So what is the date of the original clerk's order for an orderly closure?
The institution has not been ordered to close. The commission's impression until yesterday morning was that the school had improperly closed on its own, that that the institution had closed precipitously. Mr. Moyes, are you amenable to voluntarily relinquishing the license of this institution and at a future date perhaps applying to operate a new institution?
But due to the fact Burnett International has any problem with whatsoever, we didn't want to relinquish that, we want to keep the same name. Even we can apply for another name, but due to the fact we didn't have any problem whatsoever.
You
there is
understand
no
that
need.
it's a problem to effectively abandon a school and not apply for renewal in some 3 to 5 years?
No, I always said, I think the last time I sent for extensions was last year. I asked for extensions. Even I was not in the country, I always sent the money to do the extensions for the
Let me
Burnett
ask you this.
International.
When was the last time you had a student?
The last time, it was last year. It was December last year,
2024 last year?
24, yes,
So
because
before
by
we dive in further,
October 2024, because we're supposed to apply for the renewal.
right. So
of
I want to
provision.
point out that what you're saying is it has been years since you reapplied to renew your license, but you still accepted students as recently as fall of last year.
No. We have no student. If you look
Oh,
at
you just said October of last year. Did
no,
you
no,
not
no.
say that?
Okay, nothing. We sent the extension to ask for extension.
No, I'm asking you when the last time you had a student enrolled.
The last time we have sent it over, it was 2022.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So it has been years,
Yes.
and the school has effectively been abandoned because there have been no students and no communication with the
no,
CIE. And I think
no,
what Counselor is trying to articulate is that it would be cleaner to relinquish that license, which is in default in a variety of ways, and apply for a new license that isn't burdened by those defaults, right? Those shortcomings. Is that what you're trying to say? Is that a fair summary?
That's correct. And a relinquishment would also is distinct from a revocation. And it just sounds to me that this commission certainly has grounds to direct the executive director to review the file of this institution and to determine whether any further disciplinary proceedings are appropriate.
Yeah, I think what the counselor is saying is that if you were to voluntarily relinquish this license that has effectively been abandoned for years, then we don't have to revoke it. Does that make sense?
Okay, when I relinquish it, can I use the same name, or do I have to change the name if I reapply?
You could reapply with the same name.
The
But
same
just to give you some history on this before we go down that road, we did not receive applications for 2022, 2023, 2024, or 2025 for your institution. You have an unpaid citation of $100 from 2019 for issuance of a worthless bank check. We appeared at your location in May 13th of 2025 to check on your location. There, we spoke to your receptionist or a receptionist and inquired about Burnett. They know nothing about your school. Your school was not there. In addition, we've received several complaints from students trying to get their transcripts, and they have not successfully gotten their transcripts to be able to go to other schools, and we have not received any records from your school in order to serve those students.
Okay, at this time, we get a new phone number, and I think to Hook, and who keep calling me when I am in Florida. I communicate with the Department of Education, and I give the new phone number where they can get people they can communicate with.
Right, but that obligation, sir, is on you as a licensee
Yeah.
to be able to make that available to the student. It's not on the student to find you wherever you may have gone to at a different address or at a different number. That's
I
Oh,
not
was
the
out of
student's
the
obligation.
state. Is the reason why I take a phone number that still exists.
But you understand what the director just said was that we visited the location and they had no idea who you were, who that school was, right? So, and since we've received no documentation for years, and
Yes.
since students are being neglected, this school has effectively been abandoned.
This is what I said. And no, I rent a new place, 3141 and South Military address, where I was in process to reopen the school. This is where Chris came to visit us.
So how were you going to reopen a school without a license?
Listen,
Because you had not submitted documentation to us for years. So why would you be looking at a location that you had not even renewed the license for?
This is the best thing. I could not send the applications without getting a place. It's the reason why I said all of the paper is right there, and we are preparing all of the document. We supposed to reapply in April so that we can be at the July meeting. But due to the fact the money I was waiting to put in the bank to do the financial statement was not enough, and I'll push it so that I can send all of my paper on July to be in the November meeting. But there is a good thing that the council said to relinquish it. I have no problem to do that, but where I will reapply in November with the new number, because I could not apply for a license without getting a place. Is the reason why when I came back, I tried to get locations, and from the locations to get a license from the city, and then we get the fire department and all of the document to complete
But
it.
you
realize that we were not aware of any of that.
No, you didn't know they were about it. Is the reason
So
why
we have
I'm
no way
here
of
to give you
knowing,
the total
all we
explanation.
see is that a school license has been abandoned and schools can't get,
Yes.
students can't get transcripts, right? So I know that the licensing process can be tedious, but it is not difficult. And there has been years with no communication from you. Not days, not months, years.
Mr. Williams,
In combination
I know that.
with those, I think your option here, should you want to reapply with this same name, is to voluntarily relinquish that and it not look as if that name was revoked by this commission for neglect and abandonment. And if you're amenable to that, Counselor, do you have language you'd like to suggest, or are we taking a motion on the existing staff recommendations?
Well, so if the institution represents on the record here and now that it will, voluntarily relinquish its license, then this commission can take notice of that and direct the institution to, cease any advertising, enrollment, solicitation of new students, and to conduct an orderly closure. And then I would just note that your application for a new school, you should not apply for the new school until after the orderly closure has been conducted, all records been taken care of, either submitted to this commission or into the custody of a trusted third party, et cetera. And any outstanding student complaints about access to records should be rectified.
Do we need to note outstanding financial obligations that must be met in order for that orderly closure to happen? Well, prior to another license application being submitted, I don't want to walk away from obligations that were ignored and give new obligations that will probably get ignored.
I will certainly note that if there is an outstanding financial obligation that is not met, that would be one variable among many that the commission would consider when an application for a new provisional license is before it. So the institution would be advised to meet those obligations.
No, I think this is one of the things when we're going to submit our financial statement and pay for the license, all of the due money should pay. I think so. It's not
So I think
it's not something that I ignore about it.
So I think that what this comes down to is if the institution, here and now commits to a voluntary relinquishment of the license on the record, we can proceed on that basis. If the institution does not, I think it might be advisable for the commission to direct the executive director to review this file and determine whether any further disciplinary proceedings are appropriate.
You okay with that?
I'm perfectly okay with that.
Sir, what would you like to do?
But I'm agree with what you're saying.
Okay.
Yes, as soon as you said, I can reapply with the name of Burnett International College.
Right.
Yes.
You weren't here in March when I'm very thankful to have been appointed chair of this commission. And I want to make sure you understand that should you voluntarily relinquish this license, navigate the complexities of that orderly closure, and eventually submit a new application, this conversation is going to be remembered.
That's
Because the thing that angers me most here is that students are trying to get their transcript and are being met with a "this number has been disconnected." Students are being neglected, and it is our job as a commission to protect those students.
Yeah.
And it is my job as the chair to remember conversations like this should bad actors who have no business owning a school try to continually own a school. So I'm not saying that that applies to you. I'm just saying that it's part of our jobs here that we were appointed by. So should you resubmit to that, you need to take this seriously.
Well, this is something that I take seriously. Is the reason why I said I take a phone number. If you call, you will see 561-369.
Sure. If you
No.
changed the number last week and it changed,
No, it's not
years
last
you
weekend.
didn't
It is
communicate with
years.
this commission.
The
Since
Department of
2022,
Education.
you haven't communicated with this commission. That is neglect. That is gross neglect. So I'm just making sure you understand this is not something that's going to be passively rubber stamped when you come back in front of us. If you don't put your affairs into order in this submission, this conversation plays heavily into our decision for future provisional
I
license.
understand that. Listen, sir, I'm a priest.
I just want to say it on the record.
Engagement.
I'm
It's
not saying
about
that you're
just-
morally
no, no, no.
deficient.
Listen,
I'm saying you're operationally deficient. So
Yes.
I'm not, you being a priest makes no difference to me whatsoever. Students got neglected.
I don't take that as a defense for myself, and I tell you what I do. And find out among your group and the Department of Education who get the phone number 561-356-7985. This is the number that I put when the student call the Department of Education to look for they give them that number.
I think we're
and they
having
call that number even if I'm not there.
I know
People
the
take care
challenge
of
here
that.
is that you think the problem is tactical, and I think it's systemic.
Systemic, okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't think the problem is the phone number. I think the
Yes.
problem is a lack of commitment to the quality education that you committed to when you got licensed to begin with.
I understand all of this, but one of the things, if you get sick today, you will not be there as the chair of the committee. And it's not something that I take personal, as I take by
Say that
negligence.
one more time for the record for
I
Oh.
me.
said, if, for example, you are sick this morning, you will call someone to replace you, to say, do this, do that, because you could not be here.
So if I was sick,
Okay.
I wouldn't be
But
Uh,
sitting here today? Is that what you said?
If you look at in my phone to see my picture where I come from with a heart attack, I was very, very sick.
Sure.
And most of the time, I think Susan in the Department of Education when I am in Florida.
So let's
when
talk
I,
about
when
that.
when I talk to them to explain to when they want something, I said, this is it. I was almost died. Thanks God I am here. And it's not in a way that I want to be neglected.
Sure.
I'm doing what I have to do.
So I feel obligated to
Yes.
address
I
the
understand what you're
statement
saying,
that
and
should
I
I
take
be
it
sick, that I would not
seriously.
fulfill the obligations that I committed to when I took the oath of office and was confirmed by the legislature.
Yeah. This is something I take seriously.
Right.
and
No, I want to address
I care
that.
about it. Is the reason why we didn't want to close the
Absolutely.
school
Absolutely.
so that the
Let
students
me just
can
make
get
sure we're
what they
clarifying
want.
here. The statement that you just made, that if I was sick, I wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Yes, today.
In May of last year, I was diagnosed with stage 3 melanoma. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
And I'm sitting here doing what I told the state I would do.
Yes.
Even though I am cancer therapy. So what you just gave me is an excuse. It's not a reason. Because I'm sitting here doing the thing you just said I wouldn't do. So you're wrong. You were deficient for years. You failed the state. You failed your students. And you should voluntarily relinquish your license now if you have any hope of ever applying for another one.
Yes, sir, this is what I said. I
Okay.
want to do it, and I
We
give
are
you
in
the
agreement.
explanations. Yes. Well, the statement I made is not because I want to attack you.
Yeah, but you did.
No. I try to explain to you.
did, and you were
because
wrong.
There is one of the things, if that you don't know my situation, where I come from.
You don't know my situation. And
Yes.
You don't know the counselor's
Yes.
situation. Are you somehow oppressed in ways that the rest of us have not overcome? This is America, sir.
Yeah.
Every person is afforded the same opportunity as every other person by the Constitution of these United States. You have the same opportunity to pick up the phone and call this commission just like every other person who is sitting in this room, and you didn't do that. You don't have special circumstances that absolve you of that responsibility. And the more you talk, the worse this gets. You understand that, right?
Okay. Calm down. We are not.
May I just make
Thank you so
an
much.
observation, if I may? Certainly we understand that any number of things can happen which can reasonably incapacitate the owner of an institution. So just so you know, going forward, one of the standards for licensure, it's standard 3 in Chapter 6E of the Florida Administrative Code, is the responsibility of a school owner to maintain adequate administrative staff, precisely so that when things happen which incapacitate the owner, other staff can pick up that slack. It is an obligation to maintain adequate staffing. What constitutes adequate administrative staffing depends on the needs and the operations of the institution. So to be clear, no one at this commission is faulting you for any prior illness. The fault, to the extent there is any, is in not providing for adequate administrative backup. And I'm confident that when you reapply, if you reapply to operate a new institution, you'll take that into account.
Yes, thank you for the address.
So then the motion that we're going to move for is to accept the statement of the licensee that they will voluntarily relinquish license number 4436 and conduct an orderly closure. Do I need to add anything else as a contingency to that?
No, I just want to make sure that we're clear for the record. I know that council had mentioned earlier that all of your records could either go to CIE or a trusted third party. In this case, we will need you to send them directly to CIE, because we will check to make sure that we have the records for each student that was at your institution, so we may service those records appropriately.
Do you have any additional questions about the motion that we're about
No,
to
I
ask
have no
for?
additional questions. The questions is to keep the name, and according to Mr. Eric, things is clear for me.
Absolutely. Commissioners, do you have any additional questions or comments? Then do I have a motion to accept staff recommendations as revised by council for the relinquishment of 4436 and edited by the director?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank
I
you so much.
appreciate you.
Have a blessed day.
That was the last item within Section 7, and Section 8 is to recess. Do you have anything additional, Director?
I have no additional.
Counselor?
I do not at this time.
Commissioners, do you have anything additional prior to recess? No. Any public comment? Then we are in recess. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m.